Honeycomb, honeycomb. Breakfast good as honey. Post honeycomb for your phone. For a real good treat for your breakfast eat. Post honeycomb, honeycomb. And now you dig right in and you spoon up all that honeycomb and you have a ball, 'cause honeycomb tastes so good and crisp. Makes you smack your lips. This new corn cereal is crisp, light, just right for the whole family. Honeycomb! Post cereals make breakfast a little bit better. Post cereal from General Foods.
This is TV 13 Grand Rapids with studios in Muskegon and Grand Rapids.
Good evening, everyone. In this evening's news, Grand Rapids leukemia victim has her day at Disneyland. We'll have the exclusive first pictures. West Michigan meat scandal hearings again postponed. The visual report follows. And former President Eisenhower, released from the hospital today, talked about his health and the bombing of North Vietnam.
While I've been sick, I'm very appreciative of all the kind thoughts that have been sent in to me from thousands of people, telegram, telegraph, telephone, and it's been heartwarming the way people have sent in their best wishes for recovery, and I think I'm doing all right.
And how about the bombing in the north, General? You got any thoughts on that subject?
Well, I believe this. If anyone's is an aggressor against us, you can't let him go scot-free. You just got to let him, punish him and make him know that he can attack us and not suffer at all.
You think bombing of civilian areas is inevitable in that sort of warfare?
Well, I just think this. Is there any place in the world that some civilian isn't around somewhere? When you're going in military targets, that we did all World War II, we tried to warn civilians and so on, but you can't always be 100% sure. But I know that our people are interested in military targets. They're not going against civilian targets as such. That I know.
Visual News 13, brought to you by the 21 Yankee stores, where everything for everyday living costs less. Now here's Hal Douglas.
Vietnamese paratroopers have launched the most massive airborne assault of the war in Vietnam. A government spokesman says hundreds of paratroopers, along with American advisors, jumped into an area deep in the communist stronghold in the Mekong Delta. American troops worked as longshoremen today, unloading supplies in the strike-bound port of Saigon. Vietnamese union leaders are calling the GI strikebreakers and are now threatening to turn their dock walkout into a general strike. An estimated 5,000 Vietnamese dock workers were off the job today in a labor dispute. Air action over North Vietnam was termed moderate today. American jets, mostly F-105s, flew 43 individual sorties, most of the attacks taking place over the far western and southern panhandle regions of North Vietnam. No losses were reported. Bad weather over North Vietnam prevented increased activity. More on the Vietnam War after this word.
Batteries, batteries, batteries. They come in all sizes. It seems like every time you turn around, the radio or flashlight is dead. The toy won't go, the clock has stopped. More and more things around the house are battery operated, and it's real handy too, but batteries do run down, especially all those battery operated toys. What am I leading up to? Just this. Now, you can recharge dry cell batteries up to 10 times at home with this dynamic Charge-A-Tron home battery charger from Yankees. Dynamic recharges up to 4 batteries at one time for less than 1 cent. So, if the camera is stopped, toys are at a standstill, the radio is silent, and you're tired of battery buying, friends, get this handy recharger. Recharge pen light sizes, C's, D's, even the 9-volt batteries. Get things aglow and moving again. You'll get a charge out of the price, too, only $4.69 at Yankees. Just say, charge it with Michigan Bank Card.
The Pentagon says it's impossible to avoid all damage to residential areas in North Vietnam when the communists deliberately place military installations in civilian areas. The statement was made as the Defense Department acknowledged that civilian areas of the North may have been hit. Some high military officers are reportedly concerned that controversy over bombing raids on North Vietnam may result in new restrictions on pilots. However, it's not known if any such action is under consideration. A Christmas wish finally came true today for 5-year-old Susie Dewey. Susie, stricken with incurable leukemia, romped in the land of Donald Duck and Mickey Mouse today at Disneyland. And she was given the star treatment as she toured the enchanted land just outside Los Angeles. Susie arrived wearing her new brown wig, which she wanted for Christmas to cover patches of baldness caused by medication. And she got plenty of attention from the famous Walt Disney figures of Goofy and Pluto. Susie, her parents, Mr. and Mrs. George Dewey, and a sister Kathy, are shown as they arrived yesterday at the Los Angeles airport. Doctors say Susie may not live to celebrate another Christmas holiday. Municipal court examinations of 8 persons and 2 meat firms involved in the West Michigan meat scandal were postponed until January 24th. The move came this afternoon when James Katchik, attorney for 2 of the persons indicted, told the court his clients would be unable to meet his fees and so was withdrawing from the case. Katchik represented Peter and Garrett Ritzema of Holland. Judge Letts agreed to postpone the case until the Ritzemas could obtain another attorney or discuss the case with a court-appointed lawyer. The indictments by Grand Juror Stuart Hoppius grew out of a raid last September on allegedly illegal meat processing operations in West Michigan. Also appearing for examinations today with the 2 Ritzemas were Jay Zandbergen of Granville, John Rouser Jr. of Grand Rapids, Theodore and Lyle Everest of Holland, Roy Cooper and William Peterman of Rockford, and 2 meat companies, the Rouser Quality Meat Company of Grand Rapids and the Holland Sausage Company. Attorney General Frank Kelly says the defendants conspired to violate state meat inspection laws. I'll have more news, but first, this word from Yankee stores.
Winter white sale time, and our buys for this year are tremendous. Here they come, by plane, by train, the Yanks are coming, the Yanks are coming, by truck. The Yanks have done it again. Yes, sirree, folks, it's Yankees' greatest coup. A bigger and better winter white sale for you. Early this year, Yankee buyers bought, and then they bought some more. They got their orders in early while selections were at their best, and now it's payoff time. Yankee stores promise the best for less always. And those words were never truer than right now. Thick, thirsty towels, snowy white and luscious pastel bed linens, tailored and fancy bedspreads, a wide variety of curtains, drapes, and bath sets, and so it goes. The widest choice of colors, fabrics, and styles ever. And they're all specially low-priced now for Yankees' winter white sale. Come on in. Charge it if you want with Michigan Bank card.
The Grand Rapids City Commission today approved the sale of land at Turner and Ann Streets for construction of a $1 million factory. The land was purchased for $45,000 by the American Palmite Corporation of New York, manufacturers of hardboard products. A letter of intent was also authorized today calling for agreement between the city and Paris Township on sewer and water service for the Plaster Creek area. The commission also decided to appeal last week's circuit court ruling that saw Fred Harvey's restaurant and Northern Air Service listed as concessions at the airport and free from taxes. City Attorney Stephen Dykema explains for News 13.
Well, we have decided today, that is the Grand Rapids City Commission, to appeal the so-called airport assessment case because we feel that this is a matter that's not only of concern to the city of Grand Rapids but to the state as a whole. These airports are located all over the state, and frankly, Jack, it's the opinion of the City Commission and we as its attorneys that this type of operation should be taxable by the various cities throughout the state and not exempt from taxation.
Well, what provisions are they exempt?
Well, the provision provides that certain concessions shall not be subject to taxation. We do not believe it was the intent of the state legislature to exempt these types of operations.
They are profit makers as far as you're concerned.
They certainly are. They're run by private individuals, and we feel that they should be subject to taxation.
Thank you.
The city's finance committee today tabled a proposal by Circuit Judge-elected Judge Letts to raise the pay of police and municipal judges. Judge Letts asked for a $4,500 raise for the judges effective January the 1st. Following the finance committee's action, Judge Letts had these comments.
No, I think the city commission should take it and think seriously of my proposal before acting upon it.
Judge, why do you feel that police and municipal judges deserve more money?
Well, I think in order to get the caliber of person to take these positions, we must look to the fact that men who are practicing before these judges are very capable. They are well paid for it, in many instances better paid than our judges are, as far as total salary is concerned. And I think it's unfair to ask a man to give up a very fine practice which he's built up for a period of 15 years to take a judgeship which pays him $10,000 to $15,000 less than his practice.
Now, Judge, you are moving up to the circuit court bench soon, where the salary is upwards of $27,000. Why didn't you come out with this proposal earlier?
Well, had I come out with it earlier, primarily before I had run, people would have felt that I was speaking for myself and that I wanted the raise. I took this job in 1959 at $8,000, which was a sacrifice, and at that time only 4 men applied for the job.
2 Ionia City policemen were dismissed from duty today after an apparent drinking incident Saturday evening in Montcalm County. Ionia Police Chief O.M. Peterson took the action following blood tests. One of the officers was drunk and disorderly, the other charged with drunk driving. They were identified as 34-year-old Hugh Heckox and 29-year-old Charles Hammond. Leaders of Wisconsin George Romney fan clubs are planning a public meeting early next year to try and launch a presidential bandwagon for Romney. Nick Santilli, chairman of the Wisconsin Youth for Romney, said today in Milwaukee the meeting will be aimed at publicizing Romney and raising campaign funds. I'll have more news after this friendly word from Yankee Stores.
Whee! Planning a holiday get-together this season, how'd you like to be the hostess with the mostest? It's not as difficult as you may think. This Iona electric drink master from Yankees will do the trick for you. It has a specially designed mixing shaft that aerates the ingredients for a smoother drink, whether it be milkshakes for the very young set, or sparkling punch for the in-teen crowd, or the more elaborate drinks for the adult groups. It's sure to be delicious when it's prepared in the Iona drink mixer. But there's more to it than that. Think of all the extra time you'll have to spend with your guests. Time to visit for a change. Instead of being chained to the kitchen preparing refreshments all evening, you'll be able to circulate a little bit and enjoy yourself. Why not drop into Yankees tomorrow? Pick up an Iona drink mixer. With your Michigan bank card, you can charge it if you want it. It's easy to be the hostess with the mostest. All you need is Iona drink mixer from Yankees.
A head-on crash near Hartford in Van Buren County this morning killed a 36-year-old woman and a young child. Police identified the victims as Patricia Beckman and the infant son of Mr. and Mrs. Ralph Brown, both of Hartford. Cletus Beckman, the Browns, and a sister-in-law were injured. A 19-year-old Holland youth, James Dunn, was killed in this car train crash last night near Fenville. State police said Dunn's car was struck broadside by a C&O freight train and dragged about 700 feet down the tracks. The mishap occurred 3 miles south of Fenville. The engineer, Bruce Brown of Wyoming, said he was unable to stop the train in time to avoid the crash. Well, Opportunity Native Sun gets underway tomorrow in Grand Rapids. The program and employment fair is being held at the Civic Auditorium and is designed to keep college graduates in the Grand Rapids area. The Industrial Commissioner of the Grand Rapids Chamber of Commerce, William Farrell, explained the program to newsman Mel Vandergable.
The purpose of the program is to retain for the Grand Rapids area the very important trained resource, namely our young people who are completing college careers and seeking permanent employment.
What students are being asked to participate in the Native Son program?
Principally juniors and seniors and graduate students, and we contacted all of the principal colleges in Michigan, Indiana, and Ohio, and also selected colleges in other areas where we had reason to believe that some of our Grand Rapids young men and women were attending.
How many students do you expect to participate in the program?
We've had a very encouraging response in the manner of pre-registration. Some 775 students have written in and indicated their intention of attending. We imagine that perhaps 500 of these may actually come to the Civic Auditorium tomorrow.
Now, the Grand Rapids Chamber of Commerce is sponsoring this program, and do you expect, if it is successful, that it will be an annual event?
Oh, I think if it's successful, it will, and it gives every indication now of being successful. Of course, there'll be certain vagaries that may turn up in the interim that would stand in the way of repeat, but I think that the reasonable expectations are that it will be an annual affair.
And thank you very much, sir.
Career diplomat Llewellyn Thompson was sworn in today as the new ambassador to the Soviet Union in a ceremony at the State Department. Secretary of State Dean Rusk and members of Thompson's family looked on as the new ambassador signed his commission. The Russian news agency TASS released more pictures of the moon's surface today, which were taken by the spaceship Luna 13. The vehicle reportedly landed on the moon over the weekend, took the pictures, and transmitted them back to Earth. All of the photos are of seemingly good quality. The Potawatomi Indians in Michigan's Upper Peninsula got something for Christmas this year that most of us have had for a long time. Some of their homes are now being serviced with electricity for the first time. ABC's Joe Templeton has that visual story for News 13.
Christmas 1966 will long be remembered by the Potawatomi Indians on the Hannahville Reservation in northern Michigan. During this holiday season, electric service was turned on to some of the homes on the reservation for the first time. More than 40 electricians from throughout Michigan donated a day's labor to wire the homes. Electricity, an everyday convenience for most of us, is like a miracle come true for the Indians on the reservation. It means that children can read their school books by electric light rather than a kerosene lamp, that families can store food for more than a day or two at a time. Money was donated by a Catholic diocese in Michigan to buy electrical appliances that were sold to the Indian families at low cost. For the little children, the electric service brought added joy. Tiny lights bring new life to a large Christmas wreath. And strings of colored lights on the family Christmas tree brought more oohs and ahs than any present delivered by Santa Claus. Not all of the homes on the 3,400-acre reservation have received electrical power yet, but it's hoped the rest of the families will have service by the end of 1967. Despite hardships for the Potawatomis, the future is now a little bit brighter.
The expected court battle over the publishing of the controversial book, The Death of a President, apparently has been put off. It's been reported that the publishers and Mrs. Kennedy have reached tentative agreement and could settle out of court. Mrs. Kennedy has apparently agreed not to seek a court injunction to stop publication of the book, and the publishers have agreed not to release the book before April the 1st. However, both sides say they'll seek a trial in January if no agreement is reached on demands that some parts of the book be deleted. An expert on population control for the United Nations, Dr. Ulia Olin, says that nervous tension created by overcrowding is nature's way of controlling population growth. Dr. Olin talked with ABC's Herb Chapman and said these forces are already active in major metropolitan areas.
With animals, it has been shown that sustained crowding produces social disintegration, which in turn severely impairs the reproductive capacity. And I think there are parallels in human life. I mean, we have, for example, there is a growing frequency, to pick a very direct aspect, for parents not to take very good care of their children, and in extreme cases they'll kill their infants, which obviously is not the normal parental behavior. And this is very much in line with what animals do under extreme crowding. They will do the same thing. They'll eat their offspring. And I mean, this definitely is a sign of very severe stress.
David Compton checks the snowy forecast in just 60 seconds.
Taste the flavors that make you feel like a kid again. Help you keep slim like a kid again. Faygo 1-calorie flavors. 1-calorie strawberry cherry. 1-calorie root beer. 1-calorie orange. All in handy, no-return bottles. Why don't you skate on down to the store right now and get some? Faygo, the 1-calorie flavors for big kids.
Our newest 5-day outlook says that for the period Thursday through Monday, and please note this does not include tomorrow, temperatures will average near normal. And we're looking for about 1/3 to 1/2 inch of snow or snow flurries Thursday and again during the weekend. But tomorrow should be something else. The normal temperature high for Grand Rapids, by the way, is 32, and the normal low about 18. We have a vast snowstorm going on in the nation's midsection tonight, and we've tried to delineate the current boundaries of the snow area with the word snow. As you see, it's still snowing as far west as eastern Montana, Wyoming, and Colorado. The southeastern boundary of the snow area is here, including Kansas, part of Missouri, and Illinois. And it's now approaching Chicago. As a matter of fact, it may even have started by now in Chicago. And it will be moving up into Michigan later tonight. We have hazardous driving warnings and heavy snow warnings in effect for the extreme southwestern part of lower Michigan. And these are provisional at the moment for the area served by TV 13, which means that they'll probably go into effect tomorrow. Some of the snowfall amounts so far: 7 inches in the southwestern part of Nebraska, up to 10 inches in parts of Kansas, and 5 inches in the panhandle areas of Oklahoma and Texas. So it's a big snow producer, and the storm center, which is now about here, has high winds associated with it, and these are whipping the snow up into towering drifts. To the west of the storm area, very cold air is now spilling down the Rockies, and temperatures are expected to get down into the 20s as far south as the southern part of Arizona. Speaking of temperatures, the overnight low last night at International Falls, Minnesota was 22 below. Compare that with today's high of 85 at McAllen in Texas. Our temperatures around the state at 11 o'clock read this way: 18 at Houghton, 21 at Marquette, and only 4 above at the Sioux, 8 above at Traverse City, 19 at Muskegon, 20 at Kalamazoo, 15 at Lansing, and 21 at Detroit. Today's high for southwestern lower Michigan was 33, recorded at Grand Rapids. At the airport at 11, we have 18 degrees, only a trace of precipitation so far today. The barometer is falling 30.24 inches, the current reading. Our winds from the northeast at 9 miles per hour, the relative humidity 74. The forecast then: snow beginning late tonight and continuing tomorrow, possibly mixed with freezing rain for a period tomorrow morning. That sounds bad. Up to 4 inches of snow could fall, and in some cases more, by tomorrow night. The high tomorrow in the upper 20s, while the overnight low should range from 15 to 20. And for weather information 24 hours a day, it's the WLAV weather dial at 451-8111. That's all in the weather for now. With the sports, here's Don Michaels.
Thank you, David. Michigan teams bumped. Packers look toward showdown. Landry named top coach. Sports details in a moment.
If snow throws you, get a flamethrower. If grass gripes you, rent some sheep. If you hate to rake, buy an elephant. Or look into the Aaron's Track Team, the single power unit that throws snow, mows lawns, vacuums leaves, and cuts tall weeds and grass. A 6-horsepower Aaron's Track Team is easily controlled with 4 speeds forward and reverse. This 2-stage snow throw attachment removes snow fast and throws it clear in any direction you choose. Then when the season rolls around, your Aaron's reel mower will give your lawn that professional look. If leaves and twigs are an annual problem, eliminate raking with this lawn vacuum attachment. And make your yard the pride of the neighborhood with this Aaron's 26-inch rotary mower. Why not put yourself behind an Aaron's Track Team today, whatever the weather?
See the Aaron's Track Team at Hardy Herpelsheimer's in Muskegon, Voss Implement and Mower Sales in Grand Rapids, Lawn Mower Sales and Service in Wyoming, and Fremont Farm Equipment in Fremont.
Hi, I'm Tom Fox. From the diamond capitals of the world, Foxes and Buds have diamonds imported at tremendous savings, which are being passed on to you. Here you see Martin Fox in Antwerp, Belgium, the diamond capital of the world. Foxes and Buds have diamond buying offices here, as well as in Amsterdam. Here Martin Fox is at the Diamond Exchange, also at the diamond cutting factories. By buying direct, Foxes and Buds eliminate the middleman, and you save a minimum of 1/3 or more on every diamond purchased. Foxes and Buds give you a written guarantee with every diamond. No matter what your diamond needs may be, that all-important engagement ring, a man's diamond ring, or just trading up to a larger diamond, you will find the largest, most complete selection at your nearest Fox or Bud store. Remember, Foxes and Buds are the only area member of the Diamond Council of America. Budget terms at Foxes and Buds, with a convenient location near you.
W.C. Fields once said, "I spent 2 weeks in Philadelphia yesterday. It's a rather quiet city, except during the time that they have their Quaker City basketball tournament. It's now in full swing, and Villanova bumped Michigan State today 66-63. Princeton made it 7 straight victories with an 87-73 romp over Bowling Green. Tonight, Louisville beat Niagara 98-73. Syracuse beat LaSalle 88-84. In the Motor City Tournament in Detroit tonight, Miami of Ohio beat Western Michigan 51-45. The Detroit Pistons lost their 8th game in their last 10 starts tonight to Cincinnati, 131-123. Oscar Robertson had 33 points for the Royals. Rookie Dave Bing had 28 for the Pistons. At the end of 3 quarters in the only other NBA game scheduled tonight, the St. Louis Hawks lead the Baltimore Bullets 88-85. Here are the odds makers' choices in the top college football games this weekend. Purdue is a 14-point favorite to beat USC in the Rose Bowl. Alabama is a surprising 9-point choice over Nebraska in the Sugar Bowl. Tennessee is favored by 6.5 over Syracuse in the Gator Bowl. Georgia Tech is a 2.5-point pick over Florida in the Orange Bowl. The Georgia Bulldogs are 7-point favorites to beat SMU in the Cotton Bowl. In the pro title games, Kansas City is a narrow 3.5-point favorite over Buffalo in the AFL, and Green Bay is a solid 7-point favorite over Dallas in the NFL Championship. That Green Bay-Dallas battle is just 5 days off, and ABC's Jim Irwin discussed the game with Packers' Dave Robinson, Willie Davis, and Bart Starr.
You're facing a big challenge this Sunday against the Dallas Cowboys.
Well, the biggest of the year, really, because we don't rise up this challenge is over for us. We can forget it.
Dave, do you have anything to do with Bob Hayes, who comes off that line?
Well, only if he's in tight on the weak side on my side, then I have to chuck him before he gets off the line. And when I'm going out to the flat, if he's on my side, I try to bump him and keep him off pattern and make him lose a step or two to distort his pattern just a little bit so it's easier covering.
You played these fellows earlier in the year. It was a 21-3 defeat for the Packers. Did this give you a revenge motive, kind of?
Well, I think that any time you lose to a ball club, there's always something that kind of fires you up the second time around. Although, there's a thing around here, especially with Coach Lombardi, where we play exhibition games just a little different than regular season in terms of planning. So I just hope that this being a ball game that means a lot, that our performance will be a little different.
Dallas has a tremendous offensive line, Willie.
Yes, they do. In fact, I think it's one of the things that really improved their ball club this year is that they've gotten great blocking from the offense, and, of course, they've always had a tremendous defense. So they have a real good ball club, and we have a world of respect for them. It's just to mean that we're going to have to play harder, that's all.
Aren't you facing a great challenge this Sunday against the Dallas Cowboys because they have a tremendous front four?
They certainly do. They've done a great job all year, and as you know, we've played them several times in the last few years, either in preseason and or league game, and they've been tough on us the last few times, so we know we've got a real challenge facing us.
You'll be ready, though.
We certainly will be.
Tom Landry of the Dallas Cowboys was named National Football League Coach of the Year today in a United Press International poll. Vince Lombardi of Green Bay was second, and George Allen of Los Angeles was third. The Detroit Red Wings snapped their record of 14 straight losses on the road tonight when they came from behind to tie Boston 4-4 on Gordie Howe's third-period goal. The Chicago Blackhawks moved to within 2 points of the National Hockey League leading New York Rangers with a 3-2 victory. Bobby Hull scored the winning goal with less than 4 minutes to play. Stan Mikita, running away with the league's scoring championship, scored the first 2 Chicago goals. In high school basketball tonight, the South Christian Sailors were victorious over Byron Center 62-52. Kalamazoo Hackett whipped Kalamazoo Loy Norix 68-45. Sheboygan Catholic Central whipped Petoskey St. Francis 87-60. Alpena Catholic beat Manistee Catholic Central 57-47. And Forest Hills nipped West Ottawa 62-61. Big Buster Mathis has taken time away from his training to celebrate the holidays. He's in Grand Rapids with his 23-year-old fiancée, Joan Johnson of Brooklyn. Buster says a summer wedding is being planned. He pursues his ring career in February in a preliminary to the Cassius Clay-Ernie Terrell title fight. World flyweight boxing champion of the 1930s, Franky Gennaro, died today in New York. He was 65. Gennaro retired from the ring in 1934 after a career spanning 15 years. Maury Wills let it be known today that he won't take a pay cut from the Pittsburgh Pirates. Maury said he'll meet with his new boss, Joe Brown, the general manager of the Pirates, in Spokane, January 13th, and that he'll probably sign on that date, providing Brown doesn't ask him to take a cut. Wills had been earning $75,000 a year with the Dodgers. College basketball tonight in the Calvin Holiday Tournament. Tri-State upset Wheaton tonight, 86-83, and Central Michigan beat Bridgeport 97-77. This concludes tonight's Visual News 13. Robert Taylor and the detectives are next. Good night.
The first portion of Visual News 13 was brought to you by the 21 Yankee stores, where everything for everyday living costs less. This has been Visual News 13, a presentation of the TV 13 News Department. Portions were pre-recorded.
Prices are exploding at Ganto's. Save 40% and more on coats and car coats, on cocktail dresses and separates. Now at Ganto's.
TV 13, Grand Rapids, Michigan.